Welcome to the town so elite, even Elon Musk wouldn't make the cut. And no, we're not talking Teslas or super yachts. That kind of wealth is entry-level here. This is where billionaires come to feel broke, where private equity tycoons are the new kids on the block. In this place, a starter home costs more than Musk's annual salary. And if you think money alone can buy you in, think again. Because this town doesn't just demand wealth, it demands legacy, discretion, and a level of exclusivity money can't always access. To understand why even the world's richest man might not belong here, we have to explore the planet's most elite millionaire enclaves, starting with a seaside paradise so wealthy it once banned cars, because residents preferred to land in helicopters. Sagaponack, New York. On the surface, Sagaponack looks like a postcard. Wind-worn shingles, salt air drifting off the Atlantic, locals biking to the farmer's market. But beneath the charm lies something colder, older, and far more impenetrable. This isn't the flashy Hamptons from reality TV. This is where generational wealth goes to hide. Real wealth. The kind that predates Wall Street. The kind that never needed a spotlight. Sagaponack isn't for the rich. It's for the invisible rich. The heirs and old money dynasties who've erased their names from buildings, who hold assets through labyrinths of shell corporations, who teach their children that the loudest voice is always the weakest. The median home price? Over $8 million. But that's just a down payment on access. Most properties never see the open market. They're handed down through family trusts, sold in whispers, or brokered in private deals sealed with lifelong NDAs. Estates here stretch for acres, complete with tennis courts, helipads, and underground art vaults. But there are no golden gates, no Rolls-Royces on display. These homes are designed to disappear, tucked beneath tree lines, camouflaged by dunes, hidden behind decades-old landscaping firms loyal to a single surname. There's a grocery store stocked with $1,000 wines, but if they don't recognize your face or your lineage, don't bother walking in. The best meals aren't listed on menus. They're served in candlelit barns on private estates where phones are confiscated on arrival. Security is silent and absolute. Driveways scan faces. Weather vanes house anti-drone defenses. Show up uninvited, and you'll be turned away before your tires touch the gravel. But Sagaponack's real power isn't in its homes, it's in its privacy economy. Legal firms specialize in discretion, not litigation. Landscapers double as surveillance teams. Chauffeurs are trained in evasive driving, ready for a paparazzi ambush that may never come. This is where tech billionaires retreat not to network, but to vanish. One Silicon Valley CEO even built a decoy mansion miles away, staffed and lit 24/7, just to throw off tracking. His real estate? Hidden behind a coded maintenance shed that leads to a private airstrip. But even this carefully curated invisibility has limits, because the deeper you go into the world of private wealth, the more fortified the walls become, and the more ruthless the silence. Medina, Washington. This isn't a town, it's a fortress on a lake. Home to Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and a silent league of tech titans, Medina sits on the edge of Lake Washington, just east of Seattle. But despite the fresh air and natural beauty, Medina isn't built for comfort. It's built for control. Security cameras hide in birdhouses, the trees are bug-swept, and the streets? They're lined with multi-million-dollar bunkers masquerading as homes. Bezos's estate spans nearly 30,000 square feet, complete with guest mansions, a private boathouse, and rumored underground escape tunnels. Bill Gates's legendary Xanadu 2.0 took 7 years and $63 million to build. It features pressure-sensitive floors, biometric access, and rooms that adjust temperature based on your body's location. But this isn't just cutting-edge architecture, it's behavioral architecture. Medina is engineered for power. Here, everyone is rich. But power is the true currency. Power earned through influence, innovation, and invisibility. Invitations to dinner aren't based on fame, but on who you know, what you've built, and how quietly you operate. Residents hire ex-CIA agents to sweep for drones. Private security teams, often ex-military, run facial recognition patrols and monitor mail for pattern anomalies. And the parties? They don't happen in mansions. They unfold on $100 million yachts floating just offshore. where guest lists are replaced by retina scans and conversations are deleted before anyone docks. Medina demands privacy, it doesn't ask. It's where tech kings retreat not to be seen, but to decide the future, before vanishing into the mist by morning. But even this digital stronghold has a flaw. It's still in Washington. That means unpredictable rain, limited space, and a swarm of journalists and watchdogs hovering just outside the gates. So where do the ultra-elite go when they want the same privacy, but without the scrutiny? Simple. They head to the desert. Where new money meets old, silence is the only language, and the sun never sets on secrets. Paradise Valley, Arizona. They call it the Beverly Hills of the desert, but that doesn't even come close. Because where Beverly Hills sells visibility, Paradise Valley was built for the Vanishing Act. Tucked between Camelback and Mummy Mountains, this town wasn't shaped by sprawl, it was engineered. From day one, local elites pushed for strict zoning laws that banned nearly every form of commercial intrusion. No strip malls, no hotels on main roads, no public transportation. Why? Because anything that brings outsiders in is treated as a threat. In Paradise Valley, silence isn't just an aesthetic, it's practically legislated. Homes here are more than mansions, they're modern sanctuaries. Long, winding driveways disappear into desert brush, ending in fortresses that hide sprawling underground vaults. Legally, basements here can exceed the square footage of the home above, meaning every visible estate has a hidden twin beneath it. But don't expect celebrity sightings or influencer drama. The people who live here are hedge fund ghosts, oil dynasties, global real estate magnates, and foreign royals flying in under assumed names. Some residents buy entire cul-de-sacs. Others purchase neighboring homes just to make sure no one moves in next door. Even the town's post office is weaponized for privacy, featuring a private wing with armored drop-offs, security screening, and mailboxes registered to anonymous shell companies. It's not a town. It's a members-only vault. Residents fund local budgets themselves, bypassing taxes while maintaining elite fire teams, flawless roads, and privatized emergency services, complete with helicopter landing zones on personal lawns. Even the streetlights are custom designed to preserve darkness. Because in Paradise Valley, not even moonlight is allowed to intrude. Still, for all its secrecy and power, Paradise Valley has one flaw. It's new money. A fortress of fresh wealth and silent ambition, yes, but without the generational pedigree. And for those who crave both control and credibility, the insulation of power and the weight of tradition, there's only one place left to go. Across the country, where the waves kiss marble seawalls and legacy lives behind iron gates, there's a town where wealth isn't just guarded. It's sacred. Palm Beach, Florida. Old money doesn't just live here, it rules. Palm Beach isn't just rich, it's ritualized. Every hedge trimmed to regulation height. Every mansion painted within a decades-old palette. Every social club run like a monarchy, where one wrong branch on your family tree can exile you for life. This is not a place where wealth is shown. It's where wealth is assumed. Flash is considered vulgar. Power whispers. Forget Ferraris and designer watches. Real influence here wears sun-faded polos and loafers older than some hedge funds. Because in Palm Beach, if you need to prove your worth, you've already failed. Take Mar-a-Lago. Today, it's Trump's crown jewel. But long before he bought it, Palm Beach's elite tried to keep him out. Not for lack of wealth, but for lack of pedigree. The Everglades Club, the town's most exclusive institution, rejected his membership outright. No reason, no appeal, just silence. And that wasn't personal, it was policy. Palm Beach clubs don't just decline applications, they blacklist. One social misstep, wearing the wrong shoes to brunch, inviting the wrong guest to dinner, can stain your last name for a generation. Mansions here sit empty 9 months a year, yet maintain full-time staff, climate-controlled art vaults, and fresh flowers delivered daily, just in case the owner drops in for a weekend. Streets are watched by private security. Patrols know exactly which vehicles are allowed to idle and for how long. But it's the clubs that wield the real power. They decide who rises, who falls, and who disappears entirely, shielded by layers of influence. Elite attorneys, lobbyists, and former federal agents turned discreet fixers. Even church pews are invitation only. Real estate agents are vetted by bloodline. If you weren't raised here, you'll never fully belong. But for all its power, Palm Beach hides one flaw. It doesn't change. It's static, trapped in tradition. And in a world racing toward digital dominance, not all billionaires want a legacy tied to formality. Some want agility without ceremony, privacy without heritage. So they head west. Beyond Silicon Valley, behind redwood groves and algorithmic gates, lies a town where tech titans wear hoodies, ride e-bikes, and pretend to be average, while building empires from behind glass, code, and computational control. Atherton, California. Just outside Silicon Valley, Atherton is where tech elites play suburban dress-up. But don't let the Priuses fool you. Nothing about this place is normal. There are no businesses, no restaurants, no public sidewalks. Most street signs don't even exist. It's suburbia by design, engineered for privacy, masked as modesty. This is where startup founders walk designer dogs in $800 sneakers, where PTA meetings are attended by billionaires with offshore trusts and passive income portfolios that require entire legal teams to manage, and yet they still call it low-key. Atherton is consistently ranked the wealthiest zip code in America. Median home price? Around $10 million. But that's just the entry fee. The average resident is worth over $20 million, and that's being conservative. Most own multiple homes, multiple identities, and assets scattered across time zones. But wealth isn't the defining trait here. Control is. There are no sidewalks because sidewalks invite strangers. No storefronts because businesses attract crowds. Street numbers are scrambled. Property records list fake addresses. Even mail is rerouted through anonymous forwarding services. Private security? Not in cruisers. They stroll the blocks disguised as gardeners or joggers, logging every license plate that enters or exits. Neighborhood watch here runs on facial recognition. The homes? Minimalist fortresses. You won't see golden gates or Greek statues. You'll see drought-resistant plants, matte black garages, and clean architectural lines designed to disappear into the tree line. Behind those facades, panic rooms, biometric scanners, underground server vaults, not just storing wealth, storing infrastructure. And the conversations? No name dropping here, just algorithm dropping. Over single-origin coffee in recycled cups that cost more than rent in San Jose, they whisper about AI takeovers, satellite mergers, and quantum supremacy. Atherton pretends to be part of the world. It smiles at the press, downplays the power, and hides the code behind curated humility. But that's its flaw, because the next town doesn't pretend. It doesn't downplay, disguise, or dilute. It doesn't hide behind sidewalk bans or fake addresses. It buys mountains. And hidden deep in the Rockies is a place so private, so elevated, that the richest families in America pay to filter not just who sees them, but who breathes their air. Snowmass Village, Colorado. This isn't Aspen. It's Aspen's quieter, richer twin. While Aspen draws headlines and celebrities, Snowmass draws something rarer, people who don't need attention to feel powerful. Here, wealth is camouflaged beneath altitude, silence, and engineered cold. Set deep in the Colorado Rockies, Snowmass isn't just a ski resort, it's a gated kingdom where every snowflake has been monetized. Ski passes are by invitation. Lift lines don't exist. Entire slopes are privately reserved by residents who pay 6 figures a year just to avoid skiing near strangers. Altitude here isn't a challenge, it's a filter. At over 8,000 feet, most visitors need oxygen tanks just to function. But the locals, they've trained for thin air, physically and financially. They ski, hike, and close billion-dollar deals surrounded by snowdrifts taller than their Teslas. And yes, they valet their snowmobiles. The homes, not cabins, citadels, carved into cliffs, outfitted with geothermal heating, helicopter pads, and ski-in tunnels that lead straight to wine cellars cooled by glacial runoff. Some even have custom oxygen systems piped into bedrooms, so guests won't feel altitude fatigue while signing NDAs. There's no nightlife scene here. It's not needed. Instead, billionaires host fire-lit dinners in chalets built from imported Alpine stone, where the only sounds are the hum of automated fireplaces and the quiet crunch of a snow fox on a private trail. Snowmass is funded by people who avoid Forbes lists, former oil tycoons, European aristocrats, Silicon Valley escapees. One cocktail lounge serves $400 drinks made with melted mountain snow, lab-tested, carbonated, and chilled with hand-cut glacial ice flown in from Alaska. Not for flavor, for symbolism. And yet, even this Alpine fortress has one flaw: nature. Avalanches, winds' rogue weather patterns, forces even money can't tame, which is why some billionaires go further, where nature doesn't just bend, it's reprogrammed. On the cliffs above Santa Barbara lies a town so curated, so surgically exclusive, its residents once sued the ocean for being too loud. A sanctuary where media moguls vanish, royalty reinvents itself, and even the sea learns its place. Montecito, California. This is where Oprah hides, where Prince Harry fled, where fame doesn't just go quiet, it disappears. Montecito isn't just wealthy, it's designed to erase friction. Everything here is soft, curated, and calm. The air feels filtered. The streets are empty on purpose. Even the grass seems trained not to misbehave. Tucked just east of Santa Barbara, Montecito is a private Eden for the ultra-rich, engineered to shield its residents from the world and from each other. You won't find fast food, neon lights, or traffic noise. Local ordinances ban most commercial development, all in the name of acoustic harmony. And that's not poetic license. New constructions must submit acoustic surveys to receive permits. Contractors are monitored for decibel levels. Even a leaf blower at the wrong hour can trigger a homeowner fine. This is a town where the silence is regulated. The beaches are private. The hiking trails are monitored. Most of the airspace? Restricted. Helicopters must reroute to avoid disturbing the canyon's carefully protected stillness. Celebrities don't just live here, they vanish. You could share a fence line with royalty and never see their face. Landscapers and caterers sign NDAs. Homes appear as quaint cottages, but they're hidden fortresses with plastered adobe walls, subterranean garages, and gates masked by eucalyptus groves. Security moves in unmarked hybrids. Surveillance is total, legal, and invisible. Every inch is watched, without ever feeling watched. The residents, media moguls, former presidents, old Hollywood dynasties, they don't chase status, they embody it. When Oprah walks the canyon trails, there's no entourage. The land itself has been conditioned to protect her. There are no public events, no tourist attractions, no nightlife. Yet homes routinely sell for $40 million, quietly, off-market, whispered through legacy brokers. Deals are inked over vineyard lunches, not boardroom battles. And every buyer is vetted, not just financially, but culturally. Because Montecito's true currency isn't wealth, it's secrecy. Still, for all its elegance, Montecito has one flaw. It doesn't run the world. It retreats from it. But the next town doesn't retreat. It doesn't whisper or hide. Just outside Manhattan lies a place where hedge funds don't rest. They strategize. Where every home is a bunker, every neighbor is a rival, and every manicured lawn conceals the mind of someone quietly building an empire. Greenwich, Connecticut. This isn't a town. It's a financial war room disguised as a New England suburb. Greenwich is where hedge fund legends sleep, eat, and quietly move more money than the GDP of entire nations. It doesn't just manage wealth, it designs the global economy. This isn't a suburb, it's a command center. On the surface, Greenwich offers postcard charm. Stone walls, tree-lined streets, colonial architecture. But behind those hedges lie estates with helipads, biometric vaults, and fortified panic bunkers buried beneath manicured lawns. This isn't luxury, it's logistics, it's operational dominance. Greenwich residents don't just invest, they engineer economies. Trillions flow through unmarked buildings posing as libraries and art studios. Some homes are equipped with full-scale trading floors. Others host underground data centers monitoring real-time oil shipments, geopolitical instability, and microsecond currency fluctuations across the globe. Privacy here isn't just valued, it's enforced. Zoning laws were rewritten to allow compounds spanning 20-plus acres, guarded by private security teams running military-grade protocols. Commuting is for civilians. Greenwich elites helicopter into Manhattan, 20 minutes rooftop to rooftop, bypassing traffic, trains, and the need to ever touch the ground. This is where old money meets weaponized intelligence. Family offices manage fortunes that trace back to robber barons. And the new tech elite? They're paying steep premiums just to share golf clubs and gala tables with the legacy class. Everything in Greenwich is calculated. Public schools rank among the best, not from generosity, but to protect real estate values. Local politicians stay scandal-free, not out of principle, but because scandal is bad for business. Even charity events are optimized for ROI. Every handshake here is strategic, every smile rehearsed, every hedge literal and metaphorical. And yet, for all its power, Greenwich still plays within the system. It files paperwork, it follows rules, it keeps up appearances so Wall Street can keep humming. But the next town doesn't bother with appearances at all. Just outside Los Angeles lies a place so exclusive it barely exists on paper. A gated realm where outsiders are prohibited by code, public life has been erased on purpose, and the laws themselves were written by the homeowners. Hidden Hills, California. You won't find it on most maps, because it doesn't want to be found. Hidden Hills isn't a neighborhood. It's a fortified illusion, perched just outside Los Angeles, disguised as a sleepy hillside suburb. From above, it looks unremarkable, but on the ground, it's one of the most meticulously engineered towns in America. The entrance gates? Larger than airport terminals. Staffed 24/7, armed security, plate readers, motion tracking surveillance linked directly to LAPD and private tactical teams. Roads are built to confuse, winding in deliberate patterns to disorient anyone who doesn't belong. But it's not just fences that keep outsiders out, it's the governance. Buying a home isn't enough. Every prospective resident must be approved by a residency board that functions more like an interdimensional country club. Wealth alone won't get you in. You're screened for media footprint, security risk, and, most critically, disruption potential. If your lifestyle threatens the illusion of stillness, you're rejected. Short-term rentals? Banned. Street parking? Banned. Food deliveries after 9 p.m.? Denied unless pre-cleared. Guards will turn away your takeout at the gate. Because this is where America's loudest people come to be silent. The Kardashians, Drake, NBA MVPs, Saudi royals, crypto billionaires, all tucked behind privacy glass in compounds with retractable helipads, underground garages, panic rooms, and private vineyards. Homes sit on massive lots buffered by artificial ridgelines and noise-cancelling landscaping. Some are wrapped in 12-foot security walls lined with infrared sensors and autonomous drones designed to intercept uninvited aircraft. The HOA here isn't a board, it's a shadow government. It rewrites zoning laws, enforces quiet like scripture, and mediates disputes before a single whisper hits the press. Unlike Beverly Hills or Malibu, Hidden Hills doesn't end up in tabloids, unless it chooses to. Here, privacy isn't luxury, it's law. But for all its money, muscle, and manicured silence, Hidden Hills has one fatal flaw. It wants to disappear. It wants to shield. But the next town doesn't shield anything. It dominates. Just across the Hudson River lies a place so rich, so impenetrable, even Elon Musk couldn't get in. A town where 30-foot hedges line every estate, every deal is inked behind mirrored glass, and where old money, not tech money, decides who belongs. Musk launched rockets, conquered Twitter, and reshaped the global economy. And Alpine, New Jersey looked him dead in the eyes and said no. Alpine, New Jersey. 12 miles from Manhattan lies a place with no listings, no public life, and no tolerance for spectacle. This is Alpine, New Jersey, an unmarked fortress of generational wealth where silence is currency and visibility is a liability. While most towns wear wealth like a badge, Alpine encrypts it. Here, status isn't flaunted, it's inherited. Money isn't new, it's ancient. And outsiders, no matter how rich, famous, or globally disruptive, are simply not acknowledged. Alpine is not a town. It's a trust fund wrapped in trees and 30-foot hedges. There are no public parks, no shopping districts, no sidewalks. Not by oversight, but by ordinance. Real estate signs are banned. Most homes never hit the market. Properties are passed through family trusts, traded between shell companies, or quietly inherited by names that don't appear in public records. The population? Officially around 1,500. But counting residents here is like measuring dark matter. The forces at work are invisible by design. The Homeowners Association doesn't function like a board. It operates like a private council. Every buyer is vetted through layers of legal, financial, and social filters. Wealth is only part of the criteria. Legacy, discretion, and silence carry far more weight. This is not a place where you buy your way in. It's where you're either already woven into the fabric or erased entirely. And that's exactly what happened to Elon Musk. At the peak of his wealth, Musk sought refuge here. Not just a home, a foothold, a fortress near New York where he could disappear from California chaos. His team approached Alpine through private channels, attempting off-market deals, bypassing traditional brokers. But Alpine didn't reject him. It ignored him. Because Alpine doesn't say no, it says nothing. There was no response, no listings, no counteroffers, no returned calls. The inquiry didn't hit resistance. It evaporated, absorbed into a culture where visibility is filtered out like static. To Alpine, Musk was everything they've spent a century building walls against: unpredictable, public, and loud. Because here, power doesn't come from exposure. It comes from erasure. Estates in Alpine don't just sit behind gates, they vanish behind legal fog. Some are built entirely underground with biometric access points and escape tunnels. Others use decoy addresses and layered landscaping to confuse satellite imagery. Even Google Street View goes blind in Alpine, by legal design. Residents petitioned mapping platforms to blur their streets, and won. That precedent now shields diplomats and CEOs across the globe. This town didn't just disappear itself, it taught others how to disappear too. Mail is handled privately. Landscapers sign NDAs thicker than employment contracts. Contractors undergo background checks that rival federal clearances. Even garbage is monitored. Because in Alpine, nothing is too small to protect, and everything is a data point. Alpine doesn't operate within the system, it quietly rewrote it. Infrastructure is privately managed, roads privately maintained, taxes quietly redirected through anonymous foundations, public records practically non-existent. This is not hiding, this is sovereignty. Some families here trace their wealth back before the Federal Reserve. One reportedly holds original blueprints from its founding. Another controls shipping lanes redrawn after World War II. These aren't just wealthy people, they are the architects of modern wealth itself. And that's Alpine's secret. It is not power born from innovation, it is power untouched by it. While the world races forward, Alpine remains still, guarding a vault made of time, secrecy, and control. It doesn't care how many rockets you've launched or how many billion-dollar companies you've built, because here, the only thing that matters is how few people know you did. Musk didn't get denied, he got ignored. Because in Alpine, if you have to knock, you were never supposed to be there in the first place.